Episode 18. Who is to say they weren't seeing each other, and it just wasn't public knowledge outside. It could be the reason she did her internships at his company and then started working for him right out of university after passing her bar exam. Nathan couldn't find anywhere that they had actually worked on any cases together. They did work from the same building and she would be attracted to him and his power. That thought elicited a low growl from Havoc Down boy. Nathan smiled. Once she sends us, it will be all over for any man she is with. Kora won't stand for others touching her once she knows, and you know it. Another growl came from his beast. He did not like even thinking about another wolf or human touching what was his. But right now she was gone, had vanished for the past 7 days. She had gone somewhere, and he didn't think it would be a hotel, not when she had kids. Likely gone to the children's father's place of residence. If they didn't live together, how this could have pushed them to move in together. Though he had surveillance on Eric Stanton's home, she was not there, or if she was, no one had seen her, and she was inside away from prying eyes. It was annoying and worrying to not know where she was. Nathan's legal team were pushing for him to do a press conference in order to help him out in the human world and clear his name. He was actually standing in the middle of his office reading it, or supposed to be, but his mind kept wandering. How could it not when he didn't know where she was? It wasn't that bad a statement it would have him admit to sending men to collect her, but that he had not in way, shape, or form instructed them to hurt her. He was to formally apologize, not an issue. He was willing to do that, and claim that he'd only wanted to talk to her, that he would like to have mediation with her regarding what had happened. His legal team had advised him that the quickest way to deal with the human charges against him was to get them dropped altogether. If he could convince J-Law to agree to let them be dropped, that would be the end of it. The question was, could he get her into the same room as him for mediation? She would likely have to come this way due to the human world restrictions placed on him. Not that he cared about those. If it came to it, he would ignore them altogether. His mate was more important than some restrictions on his movement around the human world. J-Law was afraid of him. That much he knew. The words she'd heard him say over the phone would have her clearly believe he didn't care about anything that happened to her, when in actual fact he did care, more than she could comprehend at this moment in time. Just walking into a room with him would clarify a lot, but the way he had brought her in, the injuries she had sustained, was going to cause doubt even if she scented him. They would have to work on trust, or he would. He loved her already, couldn't wait to be her mate. She had always been fun and playful with him during their love affair. Due to the anger and aggression that had been pouring out of Havoc at the sight of her injuries and her disheveled state, she could only have mistaken his anger for what she probably thought it was, her refusal to come home, and her utter defiance at all his requests. Alpha's orders were law, and no one was supposed to ignore them, and she had to fight him at every turn. Stubborn she-wolf, he smiled to himself. He also didn't know if J-Law knew his previous mate bond was over, done and dusted, and that he was glad it was. If she didn't, then stepping into a room with him was going to cause quite a shock to her and Kora. Nathan also believed right at this moment the only thing he had going for him was their past relationship. Before Sophia. And he would use it if he had to, anything to gain her trust. He was hoping that Kora would be able to sway J-Law. He'd already dealt with J-Law without Kora. She was scared of him. Kora's bond with Havoc, he was certain, would be instant and strong. They had known each other a long time. Kora was a cheeky wolf, and Havoc had enjoyed hunting her and tracking her when she was hiding from him and the boys to tease them. He had also enjoyed pouncing on her. Not that he and Kora had ever done anything. Wolves stayed out of human counterpart relationships unless it was their fated mate. But they had gotten along and been playful with each other. She was a pretty wolf too. He'd never seen anything like her wolf. Havoc purred at the thought of Kora now, her shiny silver/white coat, the pretty gray of her snout and feet. She wasn't a large wolf or hadn't been average size, but she had been amazingly fast, and he had liked being the only one who could catch her. She always got Havoc to really push himself and put everything into the chase. Not something he had to do often. Chasing her around their pack was going to be good fun. Only pouncing on her would mean something different altogether now. His attention was dragged away from internal thoughts by Jackson as he got off the phone with a sigh that sounded part annoyed, part worried. He'd yet to question Jackson about if he had feelings for J-Law, though he was certain he did. He knew that Jackson would never betray him. A boy and twin girls, it looks like, about a year apart from Pete's judgment. He just laid eyes on her. No photo, just a quick glance in the car as she drove into the secured car park of her building. The three in the back seat. Havoc whined in his mind. Someone gave her pups. That was our job. Someone beat us to it. Nathan sighed. He too felt a little lost at the news she had used the word family, but none of them had found a human marriage license or a certificate with her name on it, so it didn't appear she was married. Did she come home alone? He asked, not really wanting to know the answer in truth if it was a no. Yes, boss, just her and the three pups. Are they pups? Or are they human? He mused out loud. No one in the room even attempted to answer him. Jackson knew him better than anyone and would have picked up on his tone. Stephen, his gamma, sat silently staring at a computer screen. He'd barely said a single word in a week.
Full story is available at novelpalace.com. Click the link in the comment section to get it free.